Welcome to PredWings Podcast, where Smashville and Hockeytown collide. And now your hosts, Brett and Ron White and D-Law, Dan Lawless. Welcome to PredWings Podcast, episode 101. So, we're on the other side of the 100 mark now. So, it's been pretty hectic the last week or two, but not much really going on. Well, other than, hectic week, but nothing worthwhile talking about. PredWings Podcast on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, X and YouTube. We're at PredWings Pod, and you can always listen and follow on Podbean. So is there anything you want before I jump into the Beer League Minute?
No. Been a
just
quiet
same old, resting that arm.
Torn bicep, yeah.
So last week we had our playoff game. We finished 7th, and we played the 8th place team out of 10 teams. We beat them in the regular, I guess you could call it regular season. I mean, it wasn't really, they just called a playoff game just because to give everybody that 11th game. Well, we won the game. It was, I don't know if you want to call it a typical beer league, but it was just, I was not typically myself. I was pretty horrible. It went into overtime. We blew a couple leads like the Wings and Predators. But we ended up winning this one 8-7. Oh! I don't know. I know I got to get better. I mean, 7 goals against, just I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't.
Beer league.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no way you should be, even in beer league, you should not be giving up 7 goals. I mean, we score 7 goals, we should be winning this game in a runaway. But our overtime goal, it was a beautiful goal. It was early in the overtime. Took a shot, goalie saved it. The rebound came right back to him, and he put it top corner, out top underneath the bar. So, at least we won that. We finished with a win, and so the fall season's over. So got a nice little break until I believe I thought it was mid-January, but I think it starts like around the 9th. So I was hoping to be like the 16th, but I'll at least get a couple weeks break, so that'll be good. I think, speaking of breaks, I think, both the Wings and Predators would probably want a break right about now, which they'll be getting one pretty soon.
Yeah, the Wings will be on a nice permanent one here, I'm guessing. But they actually, the Wings actually didn't play too bad, I would say. Over the last span of games, it was nice to see some guys pitching in. DeBrincat had a nice couple of games. But in Buffalo, Detroit they really tried to lose that game. They tried like crazy. It was a high scoring game, and I feel like you don't see those too often. But the captain seals a game for the Wings. Immediately after he scores the game-winning shootout goal, he goes over and gives a puck to Sebastian Cossa, who came up and relieved Ville Husso, who did not look good at all. I think it was something like D-Law. I think he faced like 4 shots and let in 3 goals. And, Cossa came in and he held his own. He looked a little shaky at first, but it's his first time in the NHL, and I actually thought he played very well. So it's something to look forward to, Red Wings fans. Definitely something to look forward to. But did you happen to see any of that game, D-Law? I know a lot of times they're, these local games, they play on every bar, every TV, everywhere.
No, I didn't see. Actually, I for some reason I can't even not as if I wanted to, but it's always blacked out.
Oh, I see.
So
Yeah, because
even on
that's only playing
ESPN or
on.
anything, and I don't get the MSG. Thank God. So I'm just glad I'm not a Buffalo fan. I would be mad. I would have to find a way to get their network to watch, but.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
all right.
I was kind of mad that they blacked out the Red Wings feed because I wanted to watch that, but that's all right.
I'm gonna see here. What do I have next? I've got the was it Toronto?
At Philadelphia game,
Oh, I skipped the game here. How the heck did I do that? I'm getting ahead of myself, D-Law. Well, I've got. I'm
Philadelphia.
sorry. Yep, I was skipping over here. I've got my notes and I skipped right over it. But yeah, this game was not good. Detroit just looked off the entire game. Gave up a shorthanded goal, and well, I just let me put it this way: Scott Lawton killed the Red Wings. His first goal came in the second period. His second goal came in the third. His third goal came in the third. Did you hear all that? Oh wait, and Dila, his fourth goal also came in the third.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we allowed four goals by Scott Lawton. Like, come on,
You
you gotta
stopped him, you win the game.
he has seven total on the season after this game. He started the game with three goals. We're making him look like Mario Lemieux. But they just dominated us the entire time, D-Law. And to be completely honest, we didn't look like we belonged there. We gave up 36 shots on goal. I mean, two of the goals are empty net. So the game doesn't look as bad as it really was. It was a 4-1 loss to Philly in Philly. Um, but Detroit just didn't. They didn't look good. They looked very uncomfortable the entire time, and they just couldn't get it going. It was just one of those games where you look at it and it's like, what did Lalone do to get these guys prepared for this game? Because they got blown out in the face-off circle, they got blown out in the shot category, they got blown out in the block shots. I mean, they're playing terrible. I mean, this game was terrible. I shouldn't say they're playing terrible, but this game was not very good. Ben Sherratt was the shining light for the Wings, putting up his first goal of the season, so it's nice to finally get him a tally on the board. But Detroit plays like this where they just look lethargic, and it was definitely a game that they should have had. I mean, again, because they had the two empty net goals, but it is what it is. Philly came out, they spanked us. We take the loss, we move on. Our woes continue. But let's move on to Toronto. So Toronto comes to town. Now this is a game that I thought for sure the Red Wings are going to extremely struggle with. But they came out and they played a very good tempo against this team. Michael Rasmussen got his fifth on the season. But this goal, what he did was he looked exactly like the Demolition Man. Planted himself in front of the goalie, and I know I've talked about this on the show before. He's a big body. He can get pushed around. He is the perfect thing to replace Tomas Holmstrom, the one and only. Let that boy eat. Put him in front of the net and just let him clean it up. I think Detroit can score a lot of goals, using this strategy as they showed. It was a nice deflection in front. It was a perfect play. But Detroit really they focused on really shutting down Marner and Austin Matthews. Like that was their big. You could see it. It was apparent that that's where they really wanted to make sure that they shut that down. But as we've talked about, the power play goals for the opposing team. Like we just it was Austin Matthews. I mean, I can't be too upset about it because it is Austin Matthews, but it's just our struggles continue. Granted, we didn't have one last game, thank goodness, but Moritz Sider came through, and Lucas Raymond's continuing his streak. He's got 12 on the season. He's having a heck of a season right now, and I'm pretty excited to see what he can do. But yeah, the Wings, they picked it up in the third, and they just were able to pick up the win here. Um, they obviously struggled in Philadelphia, and Toronto, who's been playing decent. Would you say, D-Law, they're playing pretty good?
Jeez. Well, yeah, never mind.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice to come out and get a win against a team of this caliber. So Detroit was able to put it all together, played a great game, and they just need to, they just got to keep that going. So now, Philly again, right? Yeah, that'll be Philly again.
Yeah, home game.
Yeah. So obviously we know what happened last time. Philly spanked the Wings and made them look a little silly. But the nice thing was the Wings were able to come back out and after a big win in Toronto, not just turn over and die and start the losing streak again. You have JT Comfort coming in on the power play, getting a goal. Alex DeBrincat coming in. I don't know if this was his birthday or not. I forget what day his birthday was. D-Lock, can you look that up while I'm going through my Alex DeBrincat? I know he had a birthday recently. Rasmussen gets another goal. Just Veleno had a nice goal. And Veleno's goal, much deserved goal. And I don't like to really break down goals and everything else because it gets monotonous. But this goal, I definitely have to break it down because he's coming down and he gets a nice steal at the blue line and he's skating it down. He's got Christian Fischer, gives a nice pass over to Christian Fischer. It was just a nice give and go. And I mean, the effort that he put into that, it's just nice to see him get rewarded with a goal. So, great. That was a great effort. And if all the Wings could play with that much tenacity, and I'm not saying he's a Dylan Larkin or, like an Austin Matthews, but for being a third, fourth line guy and having a little motor like that, I mean, he can create some disadvantages with his speed as he showed. So, it's good to see. Again, I mentioned this on the show pretty frequently, but getting that secondary scoring is pretty important. But the goal that matters most came from Showtime. He hasn't been having a huge, he just hasn't been having like a great year so far. I don't know if it's his age. I don't know if it's his desire. I mean, maybe he's just slowing down. But he gets his fourth of the season, and it came at the perfect time. That was the game winner. That was it. That was the fifth goal. Lucas Raymond gets another empty netter, and he piled on his 13th goal. But I want to mention here, Larkin. Well, we didn't mention his name necessarily, but he did get his 14th assist. So I mean, he's up there. Larkin's playing very well, and I think the captain was a little disappointed after a few of their losses, but I think that I think he's got to be a driving factor in that locker room because now they're coming through. You could see the frustration on his face, and just watching him play, he's not a quitter. He's not a kid that's going to give up on his team, his organization, and Detroit's his home right now, and I hope it stays his home. But yeah, he needs to keep that locker room going.
DeBrincat's birthday was yesterday.
Yes,
It's the 18th.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it was for that game. It was Philly. That's what I thought. Yep. So a little love for his birthday. I wonder what it's like scoring a goal on your birthday. I don't remember if they did. I don't think Detroit does anything like that, but that's it. I mean, that's Detroit in a nutshell for this this episode.
Well, I can just keep playing this over and over again.
I just hope we can win a game.
Well,
What's going on with that?
I don't know. Calgary. I mean, it's getting so now teams come into Nashville or yeah, this was in Nashville. I guess it doesn't even matter where if they're home or away, but they end up playing their backup. I mean, teams. I guess that's what happens when you're a bad team. When you're dead last, they figure it's an easy game for the backup.
Well, you're not wrong on that. I've said that before. I mean, you've said that those times where it's like the Preds top of the division and the team plays a backup just to give their guy a rest, and you automatically take it as an insult. And it's like, no, that's not. They're not insulting you. But no, in this context, yeah.
But I mean, in on the road, the Flames are 1-7-3. Well, till this game, well, that was only their second win on the road, and they're also 32nd on the penalty killing on the road. And the Predators' power play just, I don't know where it is. It's not on the ice. Marchessault did get a tip-in goal. I believe that was. Well, they did score 3 goals. Novak. After Calgary scored, he responded 30 seconds after the Flames scored. So that, I mean, at least they're starting to get. They're not kind of laying down as much. They just don't seem to get any. They're not scoring. Marchessault actually had another one in this game, so he had 2 in this game. But Saros is just he looked bad in this game. But moving on to the Dallas game, unfortunately, wasn't able to watch this game, and they could come away with a 4-1 win. I totally didn't expect that. I guess Dallas is struggling lately, but they. What is Dallas? They are. Where are they? They have lost. Well, they're on a 6-4 the last 10, but they're 6-8 on the road. So, but actually, this is in Dallas. They're 13-4 at home. So, I don't know. But so that moves to. Colorado, they had, that little 2-game road trip. I saw bits and pieces of it. They ended up losing this game 5-2. Just, I don't know. But they return home. Got to play the Rangers. The Rangers are kind of, they got the number 2 penalty kill. So I mean, they're kind of struggling. They just made a couple trades lately, and it seems like I don't know if it's true, but since they signed Shesterkin to that massive $92 million contract, I can't remember how many years it was. I don't think they won. I don't think he's won since he's signed that contract. I'd have to look it up more and see if that's changed. But the Preds they just looked out of sync again with each other. As far as the passes, they're not putting on their tape. It led to turnovers. Try and drop passes, and the guy wasn't there, so it turns into a turnover.
See, I think you need a coach.
I
think you're high on Bruno, but I mean, think about it. You've got Trotz. I mean, look who he brought in. I mean, you don't have you look at the roster. On paper, you guys should be winning the league. On paper. Why is it not happening?
One line, though? I mean, I don't know. But they did score. The Preds, well, they scored a goal, but they blew the whistle. The refs blew it down because apparently they thought it was a hand pass. But the guy, I don't remember who it was now. I think it was I can't remember right now, but it was one of the Predators, obviously. Um, he batted it down with his hand, but then it went on top. It kind of went on top of the net, kind of, but then he got it with his own stick, and then he scored. And they, I, I don't know why. I don't know why they blew it dead. I mean, it was not a hand pass. A hand pass goes from one player to another, his teammate, not yourself. So, I mean, what can you do though? I mean, it's one of those things you can't review it because the whistle blew. Again, March or so, he scores another one in this game. 6 points in the last 8 games going into this game. And Stamkos, he's starting to heat up. He had a 4-game point streak going on this one. But Nyquist, he seems like he gets a lot of these. I guess you want to say the holding the stick thing. Not him. He the guy holds the stick. But they called Nyquist for a dive, or actually
The old chicken wing.
They called him for no, they called him for holding, but the Ranger guy is the one that took a dive. And he was kind of holding the stick, and that's happened at least 2 or 3 times in Nyquist. So, they're in this game. They're starting to put the line together. They put Forsberg, Marchessault, and Stamkos line, and that's probably why they're starting to gel. And I remember, if I remember correctly, I remember before the season, I mentioned wouldn't it be something if they had Forsberg, Marchessault, and Stamkos line, and I don't think they did until now. Why, I don't know. But Chris Drury was in Nashville. He's the GM for the Rangers. He was in Nashville for this game, which is kind of surprising because usually the visiting GMs don't travel to another city. They're in, when they're home, they're in their home stadium, but usually GMs don't go into another visiting team when on the road with them. So that's kind of an interesting note. Just to think that he was there. And as I were talking about Chris Drury, apparently the Rangers fans are not very happy with him. So that's something we can dig into, get some news on that, and maybe it'll lead to some stories. But Willsby, he's the Predators defenseman. That's his first. He scored his first NHL goal. It was a beautiful goal. He kind of deked one of the Rangers. I think it was a power play goal, actually. And then he made that little move and then put it top corner. So it was nice to see a nice kind of pretty goal for the first goal. Usually first goals are kind of kind of cheesy and, just kind of crappy goals, but, obviously there's still goals that go in, but not very often you see a first goal. It's a pretty goal top corner like that. So nice to see that. And the way this game is, the way the Preds are going, obviously the Rangers pulled the goaltender, and because they were down a goal, and so the Predators had an empty net, and they had to empty that goal, but the stick broke. It's like that was McCarron. But yeah, I guess that's just the way things going. And but the Predators had 29 blocks against the Rangers and 10 takeaways. So they're starting to play a little better. They actually had a nice 2-0 shutout. So, but I do want to mention, going back to the Dallas game. So this guy on Dallas, Liam Bichel, it's his first NHL game. McCarron kind of actually, I think he was actually hitting McCarron along the boards. Or maybe McCarron was hit. But anyway, they were kind of like along the boards, and they're standing up. They didn't go down. They're still on their feet. And Bichel, his first NHL game, and he swings his leg up and kicks McCarron and cuts him in the neck. Now, thank God McCarron had a net guard, because it definitely, he still got caught. But if he didn't have a net guard, it would have been a lot worse. And this kid, this first NHL game, I could understand if they're going to the ice, falling down, things like that. But they're still standing up on their skates, and he actually swung his leg back. You don't need to do that. It's a dirty move. It's a dirty play. You don't do that at all. You got weapons on your feet. You don't swing your leg up like that. It could, if it was McCarron, it could have been a ref, it could have been another player, it could have been one of his players. But I that's all I wanted to, and obviously, they didn't call penalty on him. Well, I think they might have called roughings, but they didn't call penalty for that incident. So, and it's just something that you probably can't fine or suspend either. But I just want to mention, real quick, net guards. I know in youth hockey they're mandatory, and I actually seen one earlier this year. They actually gave the team a warning because a kid didn't have a net guard on. But it's a rule now that they have to have a net guard, and I think I think they should make that mandatory in NHL. It's part of your equipment. You've seen too many cuts, in neck, and it's just. He still got caught with his neck guard on, but I could just imagine what it would have been like if he didn't have one on. And it's not. It's not that intrusive. It's basically, part of your equipment, part of your jersey, part of your, they wear shirts underneath their jerseys and stuff like that. And it's something that's could save your life, really. So I think
I fully agree. I know that you were all against them. You thought they were stupid. They look stupid. They feel stupid. It would get in your way. Like, you had every reason not to wear it. And I'm over here. Oh, we should. I think they should. It's not that big of a deal.
You can't.
Don't think it's that big of a deal.
You can't really
change your tune. I appreciate that deal.
Yeah, but I didn't. I was kind of. I didn't really look into it, and it didn't. It's not really. You don't even notice them. You definitely. Yeah, you're watching a game. You don't even know he's got one on, and I didn't even know that until that. I didn't even know he had that on until. The story about him getting caught with the skate. So, but yeah, we're just real quick. Earlier, Predators, another game against Penguins in Nashville. Right in this 4-game homestand. Seems like they've been on the road for a while. Thought Penguins have been struggling. But the Predators actually scored before the Penguins even had a shot. Marchessault again. So, by Marchessault, Forsberg, Stamkos line, they're really starting to kick in. But former Predator Tomasino, he's on the Penguins now. He embellished a trip, but they didn't. So he's diving. But they gave Marchessault a penalty for that. And Chris Mason. He said this more than once. He said it again tonight. He used to be a goaltender, Blues, Predators. He's the analyst for the Predators TV. He called it a diving league, and he's right. I mean, it's just not only the Predator. I mean, it's a problem. It's a league wide problem. It happens in just about every game, and I don't want to go off too much of a tangent, but if they really wanted to stop this diving, they'd start fining them. I mean, yeah, you know what? You should call penalties on them. But what and they were a couple of years ago. They were giving them supplemental discipline for diving, and first offense, the second offense, so many suspensions or fines. I think they kind of got away with that, and I think they need to get back into that. But the Penguins didn't get their first shot till 7 minutes left in the first period, so the Predators they came out and did what they needed to do. But the Preds power play just god awful. I mean, it's just and I mean 1 for the last 26. But Evangelista finally did get a power play goal. He's got 2 goals in 3 games, so he's doing things right. But again, runs into another dirty player. I can't remember Blake Lazat. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he's I don't remember him. He had a pretty nasty knee on Stamkos, and then again later in the game, he had it. Well, it looked like a knee, but it was an interference. He kind of got him with his butt, but it was still interference. But it was still, I mean, it looked dirty live. So I don't know if he's got a history with that or not. But Stamkos, he ended up scoring a goal. It was an even strength goal. It was it was a goal, but it was kind of like bad timing because the penalty had just expired, and then the Penguins were they were on a delayed penalty. They were going to get a penalty, and then Stamkos scored, and because the previous penalty got wiped out, it was an even strength goal, but the delayed penalty gets wiped out. So you don't get you don't score on the power play. You don't get another power play because Stamkos scored. I mean, yeah, he scored, but they had another blown lead. They actually had a 3-1 lead. They then Penguins came back and tied it, and then the Predators took a late lead, and then the Penguins tied it and won in overtime. So I don't know. I mean, it's just like they win a game. They just can't seem to get this a little winning streak going. So I don't. I mean, it's nice to see. They finally got Forsberg and Stamkos and Marchessault, which they need to do, and they're starting to gel. So maybe they can take off. But
hey, do you want to update the weekly picks?
I think I did.
All right, so why don't we?
I guess we can kind of skip over some and then go back.
No. I wasn't saying that. What I was saying was like the game you just recapped. That was correct. Who was incorrect?
Yeah.
I had to tease you. I had to.
Yeah. And of course, I need to. I started, making a couple bets, and of course I lost it. I had a Forsberg anytime score, which is kind of dumb. I should have, and if he would have scored, I would have won some, but I guess I just put that aside again, not do that for a while. So let's see. I thought I had a news story. on there, but I guess not. So Vesca's still injured, but he's actually traveling with the Capitals on the road trip. So we might see him. I don't know how long the road trip is, but we might see him back pretty soon. But I think we got. Real quick, some fine suspensions and some trades. Let's see. The Rangers made a couple trades. Well, this is kind of going back a couple weeks. Georgiev traded to San Jose for Blackwood.
Yeah.
So they kind of got a couple Predators goalies now. The Blues got Cam Fowler from the Ducks. The Rangers traded Trouba to, oh God, I don't remember now. Kako. I think it was Kako. No, or was that a different trade?
Sure.
I don't remember now, but I know the Rangers made a couple trades. The Predators, they actually traded Alexander Carrier to Montreal for I think it was Barron. He's like a prospect, kind of he was a former first round draft pick. He's not in the lineup yet. He's still, I don't know, must have got problems with travel. But going with some fines, not too many. Norris, I think he's in Ottawa. He was fine for, and I just mentioned, talking about the embellishment. I don't know if I assume it was probably a dive. So maybe they're going to start doing that now. Kind of curve it, get these embellishments out of the game again. Skinner was fined. What did he do? What did Skinner? He did something. It was in. He got fined for embellishment. That was against the Rangers. That's right. So that was his second. They call it citation because he got a fine for that. And I don't know if you want to talk about it, Berggren. He was fined for cross-check.
It was just a fine.
Not sure who he cross-checked. I don't know what game that was.
I forget. It was one of those like near the net. It was fine worthy for sure. It wasn't like malicious. It wasn't like he came up and was like gunning for the face.
All right, so I don't know why they would fine him for.
Still a cross check to the face, like.
Oh, that's what goes to the head. Okay,
it just wasn't like he came up. It wasn't like he skated out of his way to go cross check somebody in the head.
All right, so that's it for the fines, the suspensions, and the trades. I didn't really see too many. Didn't want to get too much into that. Just real quick on the PredWings 10. I got Winnipeg moving up to. It was kind of hard, because there's so many good teams that are playing really well right now. But I got Winnipeg at number 1, Toronto, New Jersey, got that moving up a little bit. Florida, I just got them dropping just because they kind of iffy the last couple of games, kind of win, lose. They're still a good team. Vegas, I got LA going up on notch. Ottawa, I got them moving into the lineup. They are playing really good. I was actually going to have them as my team of the week, but they're 7-2-1. Their last 10, they're on a 4-game win streak, so they're got themselves back into. They're only 3 points behind Boston, who's in 4th. Then I got Edmonton. They're moving back into the lineup, and then Minnesota and Washington. I got Washington at 10 just because I should have them higher because they're playing really good. They're in second. They just did lose 2, but they're on a 7-2-1 streak, and they're just 1 point behind New Jersey. So, but I had to put them in, and then obviously I got Boston and Dallas dropping out. But my team of the week, I don't have them in the top 10, is Tampa Bay. They're 7-3 their last 10. They're on a 4-game winning streak. I think they just beat the Blues, which, I mean, the Blues kind of went back down to reality, I guess, after their hot start from their coach, a new coach. But yeah, I just think I probably could have had Tampa Bay in the top 10 real easy, but that's my 10 real quick.
So now I suppose you want me to run through my 10. Well, it's going to be the Red Wings, then the Predators. Not the teams that we like, but the actual teams and how they're performing. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm going to go back with Winnipeg being on top again, and I still like Washington. And the only thing that worries me about Washington is they've dropped 2 in a row, but I still like them. Then I'm gonna go New Jersey. Then I'll probably go Vegas. They won their last game, and then probably Minnesota. They're playing well also. Toronto, they've won their last 2 since dropping to Detroit, so they're finding a way to get it done. So I'm gonna put them in next, and then I'm gonna go Kings, who also have won their last game, and I'll in no particular order, probably Carolina and Florida can be interchanged. But actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna bump Tampa Bay above them. I think they've been playing pretty hot, like you had mentioned, and I'm gonna put them. Well, you mentioned Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing well. And I was like, I know you talked about them, but I didn't hear you talk too much about them. But yeah, I'm moving them up. I mean, they've won their last 4 games. I mean, how they're in a hot streak.
And going back to Washington, it was a back-to-back. Yeah, I know it was Dallas and Chicago. Dallas is a struggling team. Chicago you can't figure them out. They win a good game. They play good against the team, and then they lose. But yeah, it's looking at it. Those are probably 2 games that Washington should have had. And they had to go to overtime to beat Columbus. But, and they're doing this without Ovechkin, too. So,
that's true.
Yeah, I think it was McMichael or Mark. Is it McMichael? He's been playing pretty good for them. Putting up some numbers. So, but yeah. Let's see what else we got. Not too much this week, but we could probably talk a little bit about this. I know it's not really a hockey-related story, but it does. It's around a hockey guy. Bisonet, I know he's got his podcast and he's on the TNT or ESPN or one of them networks. It wasn't a hockey related thing, but I just wanted to mention how I just amazing. He's from Arizona, or he lives in Arizona. And he was at a establishment out there, and 6 idiots decided to, I don't know what their problem was. Apparently they've do this all over the place in Arizona. Biz was talking about it on a show. There was a video I was watching, and they were just started coming and attacking the staff members of the restaurant for I have no idea why. So Biz stepped up and kind of like he didn't really start a fight. He just like he was like you might want to defending them and
stop
get these guys out of there. And so
get out.
I think he left first, or they left first, but
he caught a couple of some nasty.
So he was leaving, and these 6 guys went out and attacked him. So he's, and he's out there taking on 6 guys, and it's cool. And he's like, anybody would do it. Anybody would. I didn't. He's like, so I just wanted to bring this little story up, and I kind of critical of him, and as far as he seems kind of cocky, and
I think he's
maybe he's always he's always plugging his podcast, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess I guess I guess you're gonna do that. I mean, any chance you get. I mean, I guess it's kind of smart. I mean, but so that's just this story I wanted to bring up. Wasn't really hockey related, but I mean, it's kind of is. But so I mean, so it was nice to see that. But so I don't have any. I don't have any Admirals updates this week. I haven't really been paying attention to them. I just been so busy that AHL's like way down on the list.
You get it now.
So I don't know if you got anything to add before we revisit the weekly pick segment.
Nope. I don't.
So so let's start with the wing side. So the Buffalo game, I was correct and you were wrong, and we both got the at Philadelphia. We both got that one wrong. I'm on a little slide because I also got Toronto, and then the other Philadelphia one wrong, and you got the Toronto Philadelphia correct. So that leads us. You got me 20-17 on the wing side, 64% to 54. Before we jump into the current picks, the Predators side. Let's see. It was Calgary. We're both. I can't. I don't remember if you said Calgary win or loss. I'll have to fix that sometime. But I don't remember if you said they were win or loss. But I got that one correct. We both got Dallas game wrong. Go figure. We thought they were going to lose that game, and they ended up winning in Dallas. But we both got Colorado and Rangers correct, and I was wrong. And I think we mentioned this earlier. They should have won that Pittsburgh game. They had a couple leads, but I was wrong. You were right. I'm going to have to go back and fix your Calgary pick. Depending on what, I don't remember if you said win or loss, but right now you have a lead. I'll have to go back and listen to you.
I'm going to listen too to make sure you're not a liar.
No, I can't. I have to listen. I mean, that was last week's show.
Posted now, so I can listen too, and so can any of our listeners.
Yeah. So our Sunday. So I'm only going to have one game because of our late. It's been kind of crazy. So we will get back to our Sunday show. Sunday nights live shows. Just things happened last week. So the 21st is that Saturday game against the Kings. They're going to lose that game. The Kings are playing really good. And that'll be the only game I have for this week.
Yeah, I'm going to think I'm going to go with a loss also. You know what? I'm going to surprise myself. I'm going to the win. And then if we jump over to Detroit, we've got Montreal and Montreal.
Yeah, home and home.
I'm going to win and a win. I think Detroit is going to have a weird, 4-game win streak and maybe excite us a little bit, and then just let us
down. You know what? Actually, Montreal's been kind of playing weird. They're 5-5. Well, I don't know. They're 5-5. They're playing really well at home. Not really well. They're 9-7-2 at home. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna say Detroit's gonna win in Detroit and lose in Montreal. I'm probably gonna regret. I probably should have stayed to win, but I'm gonna stick with my guns. So they got a true home and home, back to back, Friday and Saturday. Now are they? What time are they? Is it an afternoon game at all? Let's see. Friday's probably a night game, 7 o'clock game, and Saturday is. Oh, that's another thing. The Predators are playing an afternoon game on Saturday, 1:30 Eastern. Oh, it's a night game in Montreal, Detroit. So it's a true back to back, 7 o'clock. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick with a win loss.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna regret it, but I'm gonna. Yeah, I think Montreal's. They play a little bit better at home than the road, and I don't think Detroit knows how to string together a couple wins. Yeah, it's kind of like the Predators. They know how to string losses together. But that's all I got for this week. I'll see you again on Sunday. So
short week. I like it.
I'll be short. Yeah. You got anything to add before we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right, you can get us on our social media, PredWings Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. We're at PredWings Pod, and also on Podbean. You can follow us and listen to our live shows, and our email is predwingspodcast@gmail.com. Well, thanks again for tuning in to the PredWings Podcast.
Good night, Hockey Town.
See ya, Smashville.